Hi, I'm Garland. We're going to do a walkthrough here on this 2016 Sunseeker. It's by Forest River. It's a 2400 WS. We'll start at the door, go around the outside, and then we'll go inside and do the features on the inside. Just in case you haven't had a motorhome before, when you open this door, step's going to come out. If you're not looking for it, it's rough on the shins. Your screen door can separate. There's a little sensor on this screen door. That's what runs the step in and out. There is a little button on the inside that you can turn the step off so that when you're camping, it's not going to be running in and out every time you open and close the door. Got your little rear view camera down here for the right hand side. It shows you what's in your blind spot when you put on your right hand turn signal. We'll look under the hood real quick here. It's your typical stuff. You've got your DEF, because this is a diesel engine. That's where you're going to put DEF in here to go and mix with your diesel fuel. You got your coolant. You got your oil dipstick and fill, transmission dipstick. Over on this side, you have your washer fluid, windshield washer fluid. You've got your brake fluid. So everything that you would just typically see underneath the hood. The big thing under here that you're not typically looking for or used to having to deal with is the DEF. And that's what you mix in with your diesel fuel so that it runs nice and smooth. So that's what's under your hood. We're going to open the driver's door here to show you a couple things. Your hood release is up here right against this side. You've got some fuses under here. Got your brake controller for if you're going to pull something behind you. So one thing that you're not normally looking under the seat for is a whole bunch of fuses. That's typically for your chassis and a few things in there for your coach. The other thing that's kind of counterintuitive when you're filling this with diesel fuel, here is where you do that. It doesn't have much on the outside to warn you about it, like if your door's shut, you may or not be paying attention, but that's where it is, and you have to have the door open to get that opened up to put your diesel fuel in. This is your little camera down the left side. So we have compartments. This is storage. More storage. Again, just more storage. So almost this entire side until we get down to here, then there'll be some things in it that you'll want to know about. So you have storage here. You've got a little table that will set up inside your coach. They just put it here for storage. You've got a light back here. You also have a double 110 outlet inside this compartment. Here's your generator. You can undo the cover here. You've got a start and stop button, oil dipstick and fill, air filter, and the oil filter is underneath. So if you need to change the oil or do anything with that, you got to get underneath there to put this cover back on. This little saddle sets right down over here, and then it latches into place. So here you have your sewer line hookup. It's a universal connection, so no matter what kind of hose you get or where you get it, it's going to fit on there just fine. To drain your black tank and your gray tank, the handles are inside this little compartment. So you need a key to open that. Black water, gray water. Black water is everything from your commode. Gray water is sinks, tubs, and showers. So there's that. Inside here is where you would store your sewer hose for travel, so you don't have to put it in with your nice things. You've got a detachable power cord. It's a 30 amp service. It's good for about 30 feet for that cord. And while we're talking about that, That's what kind of plug you're going to have on the end of it. That's your 30 amp service. So if you ever want to try to plug it in the side of your house or the side of your garage, you want to get an adapter that'll take it down to 110. You want to get the dog bone style like I just showed you. You don't want to get one of those little flat black ones that you plug in. They just won't hold up under the voltage going through there. So anyway, it's detachable like I said. Here's where you would hook up for cable or satellite TV if that's offered from your campsite, or if you're carrying a portable dish for TV, that's where you would hook that up. This is your city water connection. Put the hose up there, it's going to thread on. If you're going to use a water pressure regulator, you would put that on the end of your hose and then put the threads of your water pressure regulator up there, and that'll thread on for you. Here they've put in a quick connect water hose. So it's got, you can either have a shower head on the end of it, or you can have a garden hose head on the end of it. So this is your little generator exhaust. Got your ladder that'll get on the roof for you. It's good for about 250 pounds to 275. Up there you'll see your backup camera, which you can have it, it'll come on when you put it in reverse automatically. And then you can also set it to be on constantly when you're going down the road if you want to be able to see what's happening behind you. You've got a receiver here. This is good for 4,200 pounds. You've got your 7-way plug and your safety chain connections. So that's what's going on there. Here is a black tank. Wait a minute. This is your freshwater tank fill. So you just take the cap off, put a hose up there, it's going to fill. When it's full, it's going to run over. Question that a lot of people have on this unit is, where do you drain that freshwater tank? It's a challenge. It's underneath here. You can see the drain line, and then right up here underneath is a little twist-off grommet cap, and up inside there is the little spigot release valve to drain your freshwater tank. So that's a tough one. Come around this side. Here you go is the black tank flush. Even has a caution sticker, but us guys never pay any attention to that until we've screwed something up. So what this does, put the hose on there, turn the water on, it goes into your black tank with a whirlpool action and pressure, and rinses everything out of that black tank, which is all the stuff from your commode. The reason there's a caution sticker here is it does not want you to turn that water source on unless you've opened your black tank drain, because it's going to go somewhere, and if it can't get out that drain, it's most likely going to come right back up into your coach right through the commode. So pay attention to that caution sticker. Got your tires here. You can check your tire and put air in them. You can check pressure for your inside wheel and your outside. You got your furnace exhaust here. These folks were kind enough to leave the screen. That keeps the bugs and insects from getting in there. It also keeps somebody from accidentally bumping against it and getting burnt, because when that furnace is running, it will get hot enough to leave a mark. This is the back of your refrigerator. And we have another storage compartment here. Up here you've got your stovetop vent. It's got the little door that snaps shut. Got the two little tabs, so when you're camping you would release that, so when you turn on your stovetop vent, it'll blow that little door open. When you turn the vent fan off, it'll close. It won't seal, so when it's going to sit for an extended period of time in between camping trips or for storage, you want to snap that shut so that bugs and insects don't try to get inside there. Here's your hot water tank. It's an Atwood hot water tank, so it's an aluminum tank. So all you need is a simple plastic plug. Goes in right here. So when you're going to drain this or getting ready to winterize it, or in between camping trips, you just want to get all the water out of there so it's not sitting in there getting stagnant or stale in between trips. You release the pressure here with this little pressure release valve. And then when you take the plug out, the water will just run out nice and smooth instead of spitting and sputtering all over you. Let's see, the next compartment here is, here we are. You got your propane tank. It's got a little gauge on it here. It's also got a monitor gauge in there on your monitor panel. So this turns it on, this turns it off. And that's really about all there is to it underneath there. Here you have a little plug if you decide to do any solar panels. That's where you would plug them in. And above that, you've got double 110 outlets. And here you have a TV signal outlet and a 12-volt connection. The reason there's a 12-volt connection there, they still do make 12-volt TVs for the RV industry and the boat industry. So all campers and boats will have a 12-volt outlet for a TV. So that brings us back to the door. So next we'll go inside and cover the inside features. All right, so we're inside the door. Before I even walk in, I'm going to show you some buttons and things that you're going to want to be aware of. This right here is a knob that turns your battery. It's your battery disconnect. So it can be in the off position, the on position. You always are going to want to have it on as long as you're getting any power to this, because that lets everything in the coach operate. If you turn it off, that protects your batteries and keeps anything from sucking charge out of your battery. So typically you would turn that off if it's going to sit in storage, or if it's going to be an extended period of time between camping trips and you don't have access to plugging it into shore cord power or something like that. But just remember, if it's off, not only will nothing run in here, it also will not allow any charge to get into those batteries. So just be aware of that. You got a whole little line of buttons here. You got a porch light, awning light, got your electric step button that we talked about. You got living room lights, so you can turn the lights on when you walk in so you don't have to go in the dark. This is your in and out button for your awning. And this is your extend and retract buttons for your jacks that help stabilize it and make it sit solid when you're camping. Down here is a little access panel that gets into a lot of electrical connections and things like that. And it even says on here to disconnect the cables from your battery before doing anything in there. Typically you wouldn't, but if you're going to take it for anyone to service it or anything and they need to do that, or if you're going to do it yourself, here are your house batteries. And this is what it's talking about when it says to undo a cable in here, so that you're not running juice live through there while you're working on it. So as we walk on inside here, underneath your kitchen sink cabinets, you've got a double receptacles on sides. So you got 4 right here. You got a light switch that runs the lights right above your sink. You have a little extension for your sink counter. And then you have racks for your microwave, because it's a convection microwave. You've got this folder here that's got everything in it for your manuals for the coach and for all of the appliances. Here you have just storage underneath the sink. You've got a storage drawer. You've got your microwave. Does all the things a microwave does. You probably know as much about it as I do, maybe more. And then here is your stovetop vent. You got a light that lights up for your stovetop surface. You got that vent fan we talked about outside. Your stovetop lights with sparkers. The little icon on here tells you which burner each knob goes with, so that you put it on light, turn your sparker, and that's going to light your burners. Once you have them lit, then you can adjust the flame higher or lower depending on what you're trying to accomplish. This little grate here will come off for service or cleaning. So in here, anything that's loose in this kitchen, we'll make sure, like all the remotes, catalogs, anything that's laying loose in here, we'll put inside this drawer. One thing that you need to be aware of, I know it was on the list of questions, is the back of your hot water heater tank is down behind this drawer. You can see the bypass valves, so if you're able to put your arm through there, you can do that. Otherwise, you just click and take the drawer off, and you can reach down there and do the bypass valves and everything for your hot water tank. But that's where it's located, and that's how you get to it. If you don't want to do it that way, you can take this little access panel off. There's a screw at each corner. That panel will come off, and then you can reach in there and access the back of your hot water tank. Some people like to do it with the drawer. Other people go ahead and take the panel off. Here is your refrigerator. It's an RV refrigerator, so it works off electric and propane. So you got your controls out here on mode. I always tell people put it on auto, and just leave it there. But you can set it up to run off of electric only or gas only. However, if you put it on auto and you keep your propane tank in the on position, as long as you've got electric coming in here, the 110 type of electric, it'll run on electric. If a storm comes through or for some reason it's not plugged in, it will go find the propane and continue to operate your refrigerator and freezer. When the electric source comes back on, it'll close down the propane and go back to electric. All by itself if you've got the thing set on automatic. And I don't know if we got room here to do this. There's your freezer. You got adjustable shelf in there. You've got adjustable shelves in your refrigerator. So up above your refrigerator, you've got your main fuses and breaker switches. They're labeled, so they tell you what each thing is running. It's great to just have it that handy. They're typical auto fuses. You don't have to go find special RV fuses, but I always do recommend to people to get a few extras and just have them handy in case something does get popped. So that's what's in there. Over here, you've got your monitor panel. This is going to run your slide room in and out. Let's see, it also does outside lights. So we're going to run the slide room out while we're standing here. This changes your floor plan dramatically. Makes it a lot easier to get around. Makes it a lot easier for Samantha to be filming while I'm trying to show her things. We don't put this out typically until after we've done the outside portion, because when it's out, it's really hard to get down underneath there and see the compartments and what's in there for you to see all the stuff that you'd want to be aware of. Okay, so that opens up this whole floor plan. This is just a big driver's side rear light on, so that it's like a security light out there. You've got your hot water heater buttons where you can turn on your electric heating element or your LP gas heating element. You have your water pump button. You've got an Arctic package on this camper, so that's telling you that if you're in temperatures that are below freezing and you're worried about your water tanks getting slushy or freezing up, you can turn that on and it'll have the heaters to those tanks working. A couple lights here. You just got your living room light, your kitchen light, your start and stop button for your generator, along with an hour meter for it. And then you have your monitor here for, it'll tell you LP gas is full, fresh water tank is full, black tank is showing something in it, and gray tank's got a little something in it. I'm guessing that is from when they did all the water pressure checking and testing. They usually leave that on there until we check it all out and do a walkthrough to just be sure everything's still holding and there are no leaks. So we'll make sure that those get emptied after we're done here. So that's everything up there. Slide out button, which we already showed you. And you've got a little accordion door that'll come across here and totally separate your bedroom and bathroom space from your living and kitchen space. So the next area is the bathroom. So we'll go in here. You've got your vent fan up here. The fan works off of a switch. You do need to manually open it with the crank. It does have a max air vent cover over it so that you can leave that vent lid open while you're camping. You don't have to be opening it and closing it all the time. Then you've got a light switch in here. You got an air conditioning outlet. You've got heater outlet. You've got a GFI plug. Besides that plug, there are 3 or 4 other plugs in the coach that operate off of that GFI plug. So if something stops working before you start worrying about a fuse or a breaker switch, just check your GFI outlet. Got your medicine cabinet. Got your commode. Typical RV commode. You push this pedal part way down. It allows more water to come in. You're not going to have a big bowl full of water like at home, because it'd be all over the place when you go down the road. But anyway, put more water in it, push it all the way, and it flushes. So a couple things in here you want to be aware of is your access to your water pump. The water pump is located underneath your shower. So you need to go in through this access panel to get to the water pump. You do have a bypass and a winterize setting lever so that you don't have to go in and get to the water pump every time you want to do something, but that's where it's located. So that's all the information in here. So this is your bedroom slide, and when it slides in, the mattress is like a 2-piece, and it slides up over here so that it can accommodate the slide room coming all the way in. Over here on this wall, if you go to the top, you've got TV signal and power along with another 12-volt outlet. You've got an access panel back there in that corner that lets you get to the plumbing for the shower itself. You have light switches here, and then you have your digital thermostat. So you put it on and off here, and then every time you touch it, see we had it on fan only, it'll go to air conditioning, go to furnace, it'll go to heat pump. Whenever you get it into the mode you want, then you can adjust the temperature here, plus or minus. So then the next thing is off. When none of these lights are lit up here, it's in the off position. So you can hear the fan running probably because it kicked on once I hit one of the items on there. Once it realizes I've turned it to the off position, it'll sense that. There it goes, shut the fan down, and that's your thermostat. You got individual reading lights. The buttons for it are on the fixture themselves. Let's see, you also have another vent here. Again, it's got a max air vent cover over it, so you can put that up. It doesn't have a fan in there, but you can open the lid just for ventilation. Down here, this is just a storage space. This bed does not raise up. Some beds do, but this one does not. So along this side, you've got a double USB port outlet, double 110 outlets. You got your carbon dioxide monoxide sensor. It does not operate off of a battery. It actually is hardwired into your camper, and it fastens to one of your fuses. It's good for 5 to 7 years. When it starts to go bad, it'll chirp at you. There's a button you can hit to make it be quiet. But to change it, you take the 2 screws out, pull it out. There are 2 wires in there. If they don't have couplers on them, that's okay. You just have to cut the wires, get your replacement. When you're ready to put it back together, you put the coupler on those 2 wires, put the 2 screws back in, and you're good for another 5 to 7 years. Big storage space in here. Dresser drawer space. Pantry space with adjustable shelves. You have storage underneath all these seats. You can get to it this way. You can take the seat off and then lift the cover up so that you can get to it from the top. Also, this table, you take the table off. There's a little latch right here, a knob, so that you can loosen it and take the top off. And then you can pull the leg out, and then the top will sit down on these ledges, and that makes your bed for this area to be a bed. Next here to this area, you've got your light switch for overhead lights. You've got several USB ports, double 110 outlets, little nooks and crannies, cup holders. You have typical blinds that'll go all the way out of sight or clear down for privacy. You have jalousied windows that open by turning the knob this way, close, turning it this way. And let's see, you also have like a day-night shade here in the ceiling. So you can open that entirely, or you can close it down, or you can share it half and half. It's handy if you get stuck underneath a security light, or if you're in here and the sun's just pounding down on you, you can pull that shade to give yourself a little bit of a break. You've got your vent fan here for the living area. It's got the big fan in it. You can turn it on and off, open it up. You can change direction of the fan, so it's either pulling air out or pulling air in. The other thing in the ceiling we've got here is your air conditioner unit, and it has the cold air dump feature. If you open that, it just really dumps a lot of cold air right here in this area in a hurry. The more you close it, the more it forces air out of your vents, and they can be opened, they can be closed. When they're open, you can actually turn them directionally. You got two little tabs here that release this little door, and inside there is your air conditioning filter. You can clean it with vacuum, you can wash it, just exchange it all together, replace it. It's a little sponge type, works effectively. Here in the Midwest, you would change it maybe 2 or 3 times a year or clean it out. If you're traveling a lot, like where there's a lot of dust and things in the air like Arizona, Texas, southern Florida, you might want to check it every month or so just to keep your air conditioner working efficiently. So the next thing we have up here is your sound system. All right, so we're up here in the driver's seat. It's all the seat adjustments are typical of just any car or truck vehicle. You have your gear shift right here that goes park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Your brake, your emergency brake is this. To release it, you need to lift it all the way up and then push it down. You've got your mirror adjusters over here on the door. You got your power windows. Got your lights. You got your turn signals, your windshield washers. You got cruise controls, all those things that you would normally find. Here's all of your dash air conditioning and heat that you would normally find on a car or a truck. So here on this part of the dash, you've got all these electronics. You can play a disc in here, you can do radio, you can do navigation. It's even got 2 screens. You can hit next or previous, and it'll do Bluetooth, just about anything you can think of. It'll run HDMI programs through here. You got a little inlet here for USB card or a thumb drive. You can plug in headphones or an MP3 player. So you got your menu. It'll do all that stuff. So the other thing that you want to be aware of is right here at the top of your windshield. That is your rear view camera. So you got, right now it's in rear view so you can see what's behind you. If I turn the right turn signal on, you'll see what's going down here on your blind spot on the right side. If we do the left turn signal, you can see you got the slide room out there, and you can see if anything's out there in your blind spot. It's going to be up there, and you can do some different things with it up here. You probably want to look at your manual to see all the different options that you have. When you put this in reverse, it's going to automatically pop up and show you reverse, and also give you an indication of how close or far away you are from something that's behind you. So that's everything we've got going on here to tell you. There was a question that was asked about if you had to manually run the slide room. So we're going to turn the camera off, go outside, and then show you how you would have to do that if you ever would need to. Thank you. Okay, we're out here. You have a Schwintech, which is an electrical slide room motor. If for some reason the thing ever stops working, which is very unusual, but if it does happen, you take this slide room seal off. You peel that up out of there. It's in a little track, clear to the top, and then right at the top of it, right above the corner of the slide room, you'll see the motor that runs this slide room. You need to turn that motor straight up and down so it disengages it from the gears. You manually push the slide back in, then you set that motor back down in place so it keeps the gears intact so that this thing doesn't work out on you when you're going down the road. So I realize that's not a very handy thing of having to do, so let's hope you don't need to use it. But that pretty much then covers everything. I think we got all of the questions answered. And if you do have any questions, however, please feel free to give us a holler. We can usually walk you through things. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. Thank you.